my soon-to-be ex-husband had taken the car, stripped it down to nothing, and it ended up with him assaulting me by grabbing me around the throat, all over me, just trying to get inside my house to get a wheel lock. So...
They say that into everyone's life some rain shall fall. And for T. Andrews, that rain came heavily the last several years of her marriage to Clements and Anakubri, a man who claimed to have graduated from Howard University but by all appearances did not, and a man who has a criminal past that he did not disclose. There he is now walking into a hearing last week in January of 2012 for a probable cause hearing where he was bound over for simple assault. Let's get to some of that now.
We're not going in, we're just going to the door here. She's posting an eviction notice for her.
Today is January 6th. It is about 12:30 p.m. This is my front porch kitty White Sox, and I am posting a notice to Clements. As you can see, this is 260 Pepper Street. Here is the notice. Nate, if you could come up here and actually get a good picture of the notice, which tells him exactly that information.
Ms. Andrews fled her home despite being the only one on the deed, note, and mortgage because the Harrisburg police did not take her claims of domestic assault seriously. So in the shadow of the State House, we went down to talk to the Mayor Thompson, about this matter. Well, no, it was not possible for Ms. Andrews to schedule the appointment that day because they wrested the phone from her while I was filming. Now, that's interesting. Also, we still have not received our information requests that we filed that day. They were supposed to be responded to within 5 days.
Okay. All right. So she was going to schedule an appointment with me on the phone.
Okay.
But we're not going to do that. I need to get my umbrella though, which is right over there. Said that she would try to schedule an appointment.
That's good. And I'll mention something.
Yeah, to discuss.
No, I used to be an assistant state attorney, and I was a reporter on my own before law school, but I called in just as an investigative journalist to find out what's going on with these with her claims, because the husband had called me, and the husband knew that I knew her from 7 or 8 years ago.
Who did you call?
The husband called me.
Yeah, but who did you call?
Then I called the police. Police. And they hung up on me, and then refused to give me their names. And I thought that's inappropriate. They should definitely give me their, they shouldn't do that to me. And then that's when I voiced it to Lisa. Then I told her about it, and they were going to get back with me several weeks ago, but then I haven't heard back. As you prepare to watch the rest of this feature today, please be aware that the mayor did finally give Ms. Andrews the opportunity for a meeting on the 23rd, about 5 weeks from now, which will be good as long as he doesn't bash her head in before then. Now, I badgered her into getting a meeting with me as well, but we still haven't received the responses to our information request. And I also am going to wonder, what is the appropriate department that they're referring me to?
So you're vested in this neighborhood?
Yeah, I was on the steering committee for the I helped name it Old Uptown with the E.
Right.
No, most definitely.
As we approached the hearing, the frustration and sadness was palpable in Miss Andrews' voice. Once there, we saw her soon-to-be ex-husband begin to take pictures of us in an attempt to intimidate us, often using cameras that her mother bought them for the marriage. Now, here's what happened leading up to the court hearing.
I was at State Street and rubbed up against the marble curb and popped my tire instantaneously. It's the right rear. I looked for my wheel lock and then realized I can't take the tire off until I find my wheel lock, which did not have in the glove compartment box because my soon-to-be ex-husband had taken the car, stripped it down to nothing, including, literally gave me my car back in April with no owner's manual, no flashlight, no CDs, took the CDs out of the changer, six CD changer, took them all out.
Right.
Took the wheel lock for the car. So I got a flat tire in November. I stopped at my house rather than paying $250 to have my car towed so that the tire could be taken off at the dealership.
Were you able to get your wheel lock at the house?
No, I was not allowed entry to my own property, which is premarital. He came to the door and verbally accosted me and got in my face and tried to intimidate me and backed me out of the doorway, and we got into a long verbal argument, and it ended up with him assaulting me by grabbing me around the throat, all over me, just trying to get inside my house to get a wheel lock. So this is my temporary residence until I figure out if I get to get my house back.
Do you have much of your belongings here?
Not really, no. I left the house almost completely furnished. I cleaned out my room and took all my personal effects, but my spouse said he would let me back in the house to get the additional stuff, and then the next day change the locks on the door, which is illegal in Pennsylvania because I'm the property owner, and even though I moved out, it's still my legal address, so he's illegally got me locked out of the house, and then the last time I went there, assaulted me, so.
Who's on the deed, the note, and the mortgage?
Just me.
All of them?
Yep. Alone. Premarital.
Yeah, the house isn't even a marital asset.
Well, it's a common law state, so according to my attorney and divorce attorneys, he has a right to the equity interest in the property.
Right.
And according to the city of Harrisburg cops, because it's his residence, it doesn't matter that he's not on the deed. It's the day that I married him and he allowed him to move into the property, it's his home, according to the city of Harrisburg cops.
Well, you know what? I need to check that out on Lexus.
Yeah, that would be great.
Indeed.
We'll see. Very good.
I will.
Okay.
And so I did decide to check up on it. And I don't know what her husband was thinking before he put a ring on it, but here's the law. Brown versus Brown, 352, Pennsylvania Super, 267, 1986. Property owned by wife prior to marriage but transferred to joint title after marriage constituted a gift to the marital estate, and thus the entire value of the property was subject to equitable distribution. All right, well, this property was never transferred to joint title. So yes, of course, he may have some interest in it, but that's, he's got maybe, if there's negative equity, he's got nothing.
Okay.
Perfect.
It doesn't say, but it's U.S.C.
Is it possible for me to run up there and get the form I need to fill out?
Not right now, because you just have to get her to come down.
Well, I just want to make sure, I know we're cutting close to time, and I wanted to get it in before you're here. I try to multitask, sorry. I'm going to submit the same requests that I had for those police reports. There's a total of 5 incident numbers.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm headed that way
Okay,
too.
well,
Did you already
then-
sign them in?
Yeah, there's sign checks.
Okay.
We'll join you in the elevator.
Hold on a second. Hey, Mrs. Blackstone. I'm not sure what all is going on, but he's...
Please allow me to fill in the blanks. We went upstairs. Ms. Blackston told us she would meet us back downstairs. We filled out our public information requests. We went back downstairs and waited interminably. And then we got a phone call, and then they took the phone from Ms. Andrews.
Is she concerned because I'm videoing or something? Or I mean,
Is that the problem?
Because she was on the phone, everything seemed fine.
recording a conversation and stuff. That's not okay.
Well, she...
I'm not recording Miss Blackstone's conversation though.
I'm just telling her.
What's she saying?
Well, but she said she'd come back down and talk to me in person, and she chose to call me instead of calling back down.
You did.
Right, but she... Okay, okay.
Right,
Okay,
when we
but-
went upstairs, she said she would meet us back down here.
Okay.
Yeah, she said she would meet us back down here, so she's...
Call into the office.
To schedule an appointment. Okay. All right. So she was going to schedule an appointment with me on the phone,
Okay.
but we're not going to do that. I need to get my umbrella though, which is right over there. Said that she would try to schedule an appointment.
That's good, and I'll mention something.
Yeah, to discuss. That would be great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Sorry to hear that.
That too. My concern was like a little bit slightly different than hers. I used to be an assistant state attorney, and I was a reporter on my own before law school. But I called in just as an investigative journalist to find out what's going on with these with their claims, because the husband had called me, and the husband knew that I knew her from 7 or 8 years ago.
Who did you call?
The husband called me,
Yeah, but who did you
and
call?
I called the police. So
It's a good idea to start with me. I'm the communications director, and I can facilitate
that.
these kind of inquiries,
Right.
as long as it's a media inquiry. Now,
Yeah.
if it's a citizen inquiry,
It's kind of
You have to go through Lisa.
right. It was kind of a mixed
Although
bag.
I'll say something.
Okay.
It was kind of a mixed bag. It's kind of borderline. A
I
little
have
bit
an
of both.
aggravated assault hearing tomorrow that I'm going to, so hence the...
And my concern was that, when I tried to voice a concern, that the guy seemed unstable to me when he called me,
Right.
and they hung up on me,
Well-
and then refused to give me their names. And I thought that's inappropriate. They should definitely give me their, they shouldn't do that to me. And then that's when I voiced it to Lisa, and I told her about it, and they were going to get back with me several weeks ago, but then I haven't heard back. So I happened to be traveling through town and came in for this, and I figured I would stop in, and I know she has a hearing tomorrow, so we're just trying to keep everything in the open.
Well, naturally, the police can't, and are not interested in hearsay over information over a phone that isn't a police matter. After a while, it becomes time.
Well, I understand, but this was not hearsay. This is my direct, correspondence with this man and what he
Is the
said to
man
me.
under
So
arrest?
Yeah, he's out on bail bond right now.
at this point, right?
So the matter's moved now
Yeah, it's gonna, the hearing's at
to the DA's
DCP.
office and out of the
Yeah,
police.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
anyway,
so, thank you
we'll
for
see what
your
happens.
time.
Do you have a card or something?
I personally don't. He does. I'm.
And what was your name?
Yeah,
Yeah,
with
would you?
my email.
So I don't
address.
forget it?
Yeah, I'm also trying to
Are you
get
getting
my,
into a
I'm
safe
trying to get
place,
the
or
police
you-
reports. Well, it's I moved out of my house under duress because I was sleeping with a knife under my pillow and master padlock on my door, but I own the property premarital, but he's in the house. And he failed to pay the mortgage, so now my credit got hit because he didn't pay the mortgage for the month of January. So it's not a fun situation. So.
And you filed a right to know? request?
Yeah, this is my second right to know. They refused the first round of them. And it is what it is. Well, my spouse had me arrested and said that I assaulted him. He's painting me as the abuser, and he filed 2 PFAs against me, saying lying in the PFA. But now it's my word versus his. But he has a history of lying. Like he never graduated from high school. He got fired from the job for lying at 11.